Hi, this is Bob from W126parts.com. Today we're going to be going over the fuel gauge sender that is located in the fuel tank. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you where it's located. In your back seat, on both an SEC or an SEL, on the driver's side, so on the left-hand side. Behind the seat, you're going to pull back the seat or take the seat off, depending on if it's an SEC or an SEL. Then you're going to see there is a white colored cap, and then up top there is this black colored cap. It's part number 126-987-0045. It's going to be in this direction, so you're not looking for the white cap that's going this way, you're looking for the black cap that's going down. You take a screwdriver and you're going to peel the cap right off. Once you peel the cap off, you're going to be exposed to a connector, and then you're going to be looking at this. I don't know what size this is. I know it's huge, but what I've done is I've made a special socket for it that I put on it, and then you're just going to unscrew it. It unscrews right here by these threads. Once it unscrews, you very gently bring it up, take it out of the tank. Now, the first way to tell if this is going to work or not is if you tilt it. And if you can hear inside the float moving easily back and forth, chances are this is going to be a good fuel sender. Now you can tell by this one, by where the line of the gasoline is, the discoloration, that this has been in there a while and the gas has been at this level. The first thing I'll tell you is if you pull one out and it looks like this, chances are there's been a lot of gas that's gone bad in there, so the inside to this one isn't going to move, nor is it going to be salvageable. Something like that, if you open it up, I don't know if you can see all the rust on the rail, but it looks like this. So what happens is this plastic float usually would move up and down the rail, depending on, and this wire would be attached right here, depending on where it is how much resistance this is getting, which is sending it up to your fuel gauge. Now, if you have something like this, I doubt that you're ever going to be able to get this rail right here clean enough that it'll go up and down easily. You'll come to other ones that the wire itself has been totally dissolved by the gasoline, which is also really interesting. I think that the more ethanol there is in the gasoline, the more that these very, very thin wires, and I don't know if you can even make that out on the camera, how they dissolve inside of there. Now, I found that if the wires are split or cut, that you're never going to be able to get the right resistance reading on them. So usually if they're anything like that, like even something like this, where the pieces have come off, the holders for them, I think that if you try to reattach that, you're never going to get a correct reading because you won't get the right resistance. The other thing to immediately look for is if there's any dents in the tube. I'm not sure how these dents happen, to be honest with you, because when you're pulling it up, usually you're not going to be able to dent it. My guess is I've seen some of these that I think are dented when they're originally put in. Now, the problem with something like this is that your float will never go all the way down. And I think that's why people have problems where like their gas tank still reads like a quarter tank and they run empty because the float sticks because of the dent. So any of them that are dented, I don't use them. So now taking something like this apart, once you have it out, first of all, be aware that there's going to be a lot of gas in here and a lot of bad gas. So usually I'll leave it outside for a day or two, to let it kind of dry out. Now you got to imagine that the gas is only coming in and going out through these small holes, larger holes up top, smaller holes down at the bottom. So sometimes it takes a really long time for it to empty out. So the first thing you want to do is grab a pair of pliers. You're going to undo the screw on the bottom. There's actually a small nut inside of here with a plastic gasket around it, but I find that if you just hold on to it and gently turn, once you get it started, you should be able to take it off by hand. You might want to wear gloves for this, just because sometimes the gas will irritate your skin. Next, there's a plate that comes off. It's flat on the outside. It's got the little grooves on the inside from the plastic. On the plastic, if you notice that it's a tad bit bowed right here, and that's just from someone really tightening it down on here. So sometimes it's hard to get the plastic out. I find what works best is if you tap it a little bit from here, and then gently bring it out. You'll find that the sender will come out, and then to actually get the plastic cap on it, what I'll do is I'll just take a screwdriver, drop it down, and the cap will pop out. So next what we want to do is we want to examine this. We want to make sure that all the, oof, boy, if you could only smell how bad this gas is. You want to make sure all the connectors here are soldered on. You want to make sure that the wires are taut. And then you just want to make sure that the float is moving freely in there, from all the way up top to all the way down below. You also want to check these connectors down here. Now, what you can do is you can actually hook up a ohm meter and you can test this for resistance, but I've never found one where these are tight that it's not registering correctly. So then what you want to do is you want to clean up the inside of this and you want to put it back together. When you put it back together, you're going to notice that there is one notch on it. That notch is going to line up with a notch. Of course, now I can't find it. Right there. And what you want to do is you want to line those two up first. So gently put those back in. Line those two up. And then you got to push this tight. Then you want to put down your plastic cover next. And again, you know, I'd clean up all this before I put it back together for illustration purposes only. Put your plate in, and then you're going to screw your nut back on. Again, once you're all done, what I definitely suggest doing is to tilt it again, make sure that it's still traveling in there with no resistance. I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm Bob from W126parts.com. I'm trying to post some videos to try to help people out so that you don't do more damage instead of actually fixing your 126. That's all. Have a great day.